To remind people what vectors are, here's this simulation you might have seen it last year. If I'm going to add two vectors, this idea of an arrow with a has direction size. So if I add like something that's going 3 and I add something that's going to 2 with it, we'd agree the total thing is 5. And we could do something like this. If I have a vector that's say 3 to the right, doesn't matter what it is. It could be velocity, it could be displacement, it could be a force, whatever. It's going 3 to the right and say 2 more to the right plus 2 up. What's the resulting vector? How do you add those two things? They're not going in the same direction. And you just, counting to the right, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up is 2. So over 5 and up 2. And then we could use trigonometry to figure that out. Actually, we could use a bit of trig to find out the size of that. You could also do something that's even harder. You could do something like this, that's like that, plus something that does this. How do you add those up? Maybe make this even a bit longer. So we could add those two vectors. There's the resultant. And when we're adding vectors, it's really easy to see with a grid, but if you can imagine, hey, there's no grid, how do I know how far over it is and how up it is? It's the idea that they have components. This blue vector has a component, and it doesn't matter where you put it, so it's not nicely on the grid anymore. And this is going over 4 and up 4, and this one is going over 2 and down 2. So 4 up and 2 down gives you 2 up, and 4 over plus 2 more over is 6 over. So that's the idea of how you add vectors. What that might look like on a question would be delta x1 is, say, 2 meters east. Delta x2, so it moved to the right 2 meters, then it went, say, north for 6 meters. What is the resultant? That would be like 2 plus 6, and the resultant would be this. And to figure out that resultant, we could use Pythagoras. R squared equals 2 squared plus 6 squared. So R squared is, actually we'll go R is the square root of 4, that's 40. It's 4 plus 36 is 40. And then we could even find the angle. Tan theta equals 6 over 2. So theta equals inverse tan of 6 over 2. So I'm going to put these in my calculator. Square root of 40 is 6.3. And inverse tan of 3 is 72 degrees. So we'd say the resultant is 6.3 meters, 72 degrees north of east. That's an easy vector addition. It can get harder, but that, or math-wise, but that's essentially it. All right, there you go. There's your review.